fading. We gotta go. I'll get my car. I brought mine. Yours. I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dane's Discussions. I've been busy. I've been really busy, as you know, closing on my condo, getting ready for the move. Well, actually, been moving stuff already, and getting ready for my new studio in my condo. So I'm really excited. Again, great stuff coming up, but been really busy. But had to talk about this coming up. I got Superman, Batman, World's Finest today. Today's going to be a World's Finest stream, but Zack Snyder's World's Finest specifically, as you saw by the title. And I'm really excited to talk this topic, and I'm really excited to bring this guest on. Josh Herrera, how are you, man?
World's Finest! I love it! Bat Dan, what is going on?
Nothing. It's just really exciting. We've had some great nuggets this week for the World's Finest, Zack Snyder's World's Finest coming back, and a lot of great stuff to talk about today.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited. I love that you've been busy. Congratulations on your condo.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see more of it, and housewarming I'm sure is going to be happening. So I can't wait for you to see for us to see the Snyder cut on the big screen in that housewarming party.
Yeah, Josh, you're not even the first person to ask me about a housewarming party. So many people are like, "Oh, when's the housewarming party? When's the housewarming party?" I'm like, I have to clean my condo for it now.
Yeah, you get that responsibility now with great power, Bat Dan. You know.
Oh yeah. Hey, at least it's a condo. I don't have to do the exterior. So
very true, very true. That's exciting, though. I know you've been busy. I've been busy myself, and I know that we've been wanting to talk about this. So I'm grateful that you let me come on today. And what's up, Flash, fellow?
What
Flash?
up? What up, Flash? Producer of the channel, creator of this great background, not this background and intro.
Yes, it's always amazing to see that intro. It's always a treat from the good Austin. Shout out to you, Flash. Coming to the housewarming party.
Oh my God, you're gonna give me so much work to do, Josh. I have to get I'm gonna have to, my God, clean, get food. Oh my God.
He's gonna be running in though. Good Austin. He's not gonna be flying in.
Yeah, running from New York to Chicago.
Hey, if Barry can do it.
Well, before we get to the World's Finest today, there's something I have to advertise, like I do for every stream. On my birthday, the One Punch Dan trailer is going to release May 30th, 2025. This is a movie that Zack Snyder is making that's starring me, And this guy's playing kind of a lame character in the movie, but starring One Punch Man and supporting character of just Josh, who's going to get his ass kicked by One Punch Man.
We'll see. I can be
And
there.
what up, Osa Fresh?
Hey, Osa, what's up?
But yeah, is Josh, you excited for this movie?
Oh yes, oh yes. I just know some tidbits, like I know you do. So we'll just see, Bat Dan. We will see what happens on 5/30, 2025.
What up, Rebel Moon Theory?
Hey, shout out to Rebel
Hey.
Moon Theory, and shout out
Yep.
to that amazing trending event that happened for Rebel Moon's anniversary. Happy birthday, Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon Bloodlines trending events coming up. I can't wait for that. Have you gotten to play the beta, Bat Dan?
No, I have not gotten to play the beta. And
It's pretty awesome.
I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to play it. Again, though, my time has been very limited because buying a condo is very busy and it's a lot of work. But anyway, check out One Punch Man. The trailer comes out on my birthday. Shout out to Zack Snyder. And speaking of which, here's to the Cordovan speedster who loves musicals. Cordovan speedster loves musicals.
If you know, you know.
What up, Socks? But yeah, again, shout out to Zodwriter. He does great work. He's done so much great work on this. And unlike a certain director, he actually has his trailer coming out.
Oh, shots fired. Boop, boop, boop. Pow.
Socks, I know. But yeah, so catch One Punch Man trailer May 30th, 2025. And now, neither can I. And now, spoiler alerts. Spoiler alert for The Accountant 2. So, I figure if we're going to start, we can't talk about Ben Affleck without talking about his most recent movie that's come out. The Accountant 2, the only DC Marvel crossover that I think either of us really care about. So,
Yeah,
for
that's true.
No, it's a sequel to The Accountant, which is an action movie starring Ben Affleck, a character who's on the autism spectrum and also has been trained by his dad as well. Like his dad trained him and his brother to be good fighters, and he's done some underground work for mobsters. But it's like he's an accountant, but he's also an action hero, basically. And John Bernthal, the Punisher, plays his brother. So first movie was great. I liked that one. It took place in Chicago, so I do miss the Chicago setting in this one. But so for those who don't know, I brought Josh on. He gave his thoughts on it, and I actually just saw it on Tax Day. I saw the early showing on Tax Day, so it was really cool to see that again. And I really like this one. What I really like about this one, Josh, is I really love the brothers' chemistry. Ben Affleck and John Bernthal. You don't see that a lot in the first one. You don't find out the brothers till the very end. And the instant I mentioned accountant spoilers too, the viewership dropped. So I guess a lot of people haven't seen it yet still. But anyways.
Hey, that's your fault.
Yeah, I know. I own that one, but
No. I'm talking to them on the other side of the screen.
Oh.
You did your job. You saw the movie, so that's their fault.
Yeah. We supported our Batman and our Punisher. But yeah, I really love the chemistry with the two brothers. It's like I love that Ben Affleck again, he's book smart, right? His character is book smart, but not social smart. I mean, John Bernthal comes and he says, "Oh, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here because I forgot the name. I'm bad with names. I do apologize for that. But what did he say? Braxton. Like she told him to say, "How are you doing?" Or like, "Thanks for coming." And then John Bernthal's like, "Did she tell you to say that?" So just little things like that. But then also really happy that Ben Affleck got a girl to dance with him, and you really like you really see the love with them. And what I really love about the story, Josh, is that so many stories like a difficult brother. It'd be so easy for the other brother to be like, I can't, you're too difficult. I don't want to be around you. But what I like about this movie is that John Bernthal, he doesn't feel like that for a second. Yes, he gets angry at him, but even when he's like, oh, go ahead without me, he literally gets in the car with him, with Ben Affleck. And it's like,
as he didn't, right?
He didn't exactly. He didn't even once think about abandoning him. Yeah. So that's something I really love about this story. Josh, what are some of your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. You know, you nailed it on the head, Bat Dan, because I recently rewatched The Accountant 1 after seeing, you know, the world premiere at South by Southwest of The Accountant 2, and it was shocking to me, like how little of the brothers together is in the movie, right? Because it makes an impact from as a viewer, right? You're like, oh yeah, it's Punisher and Batfleck, like let's go. But then like rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, we really barely got to see them. Hey, shout out to you who just jumped in the chat.
What up, Sin Havoc?
If you know, you know.
Just talking some world's finest today with a review, starting with a review of The Accountant 2.
Good to see you, Sin. But yeah, and that's why this movie I think was so necessary, because now watching it back, you realize like we need this chemistry because it's so good. Ben Affleck and John Bernthal have such good chemistry, in my opinion, and they both have nailed their roles, in my opinion. And I mean, we'll get into it, but I mean, at the end in the third act, in the climax, like you get basically Nightmare Batman and you get full-fledged Punisher. Like, I'm sorry, John Braxton was non-existent in the third act. He becomes Frank Castle, in my opinion. And so seeing Daredevil recently, you know, Born Again, seeing him back doing that, I was just like, oh, he just basically became Punisher all of a sudden. So it was basically, in my personal opinion, like seeing Batfleck and Punisher team up. I honestly have been putting that in my tweets and posts, but that's how I felt. I don't know about you, Bat Dan. Did you kind of get that sense too with John Bernthal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I feel like Braxton was always the Punisher, and I do want to correct a statement I said earlier. It's Medina who tells Christian Wolf to tell Braxton that it was good to see him again. So I want to correct that statement earlier. And
Agent Medina.
You know, Josh, should we make the rest of this review a musical? I think we should.
I'm down.
So what were your thoughts on that one, that assassin lady, the assassin that J.K. Simmons met? I can't keep doing this.
It's all for you, Socks. Cordovan speedster. Daniela Pineda, I believe, is the actress's name. I got to see her really close to me. I didn't know who she was. She was a big deal, actually. At South by Southwest at the screening that I went to. I know, man. I know. I mean, I'm biased though. I'm on a stream with One Punch Dan lame over here, so I have to.
Did he just call me lame? I think he just called me lame.
Hey, you shots fired first. Anyway. We'll find out May 30th. But yeah, she was a badass. Like her role in this movie, you know, she makes an impression early on in the film. Actually, I think we can say it, right? We're talking spoilers.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that opening scene with you know who, Commissioner Gordon?
Well, first of all, it's you know whom. Secondly, it's something I would have felt better about that scene if they didn't advertise him dying in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this was an issue where the trailer gave too much away. I mean, I know it's the main plot of the movie, but I still feel like they could have just been kind of vague about why Medina needs Christian Wolf, aka Ben Affleck's help, and they could have just like shown J.K. Simmons briefly. And it was a really cool scene, and I love seeing J.K. Simmons as a badass and like him writing down information on his arm real quick. But the suspense to me is killed because the trailer is like, you're gonna die, he's gonna die, and you know that's not necessarily a fault of the movie. That's a fault of the marketing of the movie. So I can't.
Yeah. I agree. But I kind of was like, when I saw it, the world premiere, I was in disbelief. Like the whole movie, I was like, and it wasn't until after, I think, our feedback that we saw at the world premiere is probably a reason that they spoiled it, because like you can ask the person that I saw it with. I was like, he's not dead, right? There's a third one. He's coming back. Like, it just didn't seem real to me. And I do think that it was set up for a third one, and we'll get into that. But I think that other people felt the same way too when we gave feedback. So I think that's why because the marketing didn't spoil it until after the world premiere.
Okay.
So I think that was them being like, no, JK's done in this role. And I was like, no. But the time he does have to shine, he was pretty much a badass. Like, I did love seeing him get some action in as, our Commissioner Gordon. So it is, in all storytelling, Bat Dan, it is, you have to have an inciting event, right? And seeing how his character, I think it's Harry, I forget his name. I think it's Harry, right?
It is Raymond King.
Okay, I don't know why I'm saying Harry. Raymond King, he's a big part, right, of explaining the mythology of the accountant, right? And the otherworldly, kind of John Wick-esque reputation that the accountant has. So that's why I was so tied to him, and I think all of us were, because he introduced us to this iconic character, the accountant. And so it did make sense after really sleeping on it, after seeing it and being shocked and not believing that he was dead. The accountant, this would cause the accountant to come back after 8 years, right? And really be hands-on with Agent Medina once again, which is not something he does, right? He doesn't work with the feds, and that becomes a point of contention between him and Braxton, his brother. So it made sense to me after really. I just was curious if it was a downer for you, but it sounds like you were kind of prepared for it from the trailers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think for the story it made sense because I agree. Like, he's, as you said, he's been in hiding for 8 years. Sure, that the timeline of the actual real life release dates of the movies is that, so you have to have a believable reason for him to come back, and that's one of the only things is that Christian Wolf acted as an informant to Raymond King, because like I think from my understanding from the first movie, he did like he would somewhat help the mobsters, but he would give a lot of his money away, and he would also kind of use that knowledge to report on other activities. That was my understanding of of Christian Wolf's motivations, is that and he has, he's like, Christian Wolf is rich, but he's just fine living in an RV. But it is interesting. And Medina, I love that, because you see how Ben Affleck's crew. And I'm gonna switch between saying Ben Affleck and Christian Wolf. Sometimes when an actor, you just call them the actor's name. It's like Dwayne Johnson. Like, everyone calls him The Rock in all his characters. But anyways, seeing how Christian Wolf's crew was hacking into that one woman's computer, and Medina's like stop, this isn't right, this is an invasion of her privacy, or how they had basically a hostage in her trunk. I mean, he was a bad guy, sure, but that's still not legal. And she's all about to buy the book, and then she's like, what if the police stop me? And then it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna create a false alarm somewhere else, and we're gonna make all of the lights green. And I'm thinking, why can't I have this coming home? Why can't I have them? Can you just like make all my lights green coming home, please? That would be really nice if you could do that for me. But yeah, and I love, and another moment I kind of wish wasn't in the trailer, because the trailer made me prepare for that joke when it's like, when Braxton's like, no, this person didn't kill those people. She didn't kill them. Call it an educated guess, and then she just walks out and it's like, I didn't confess to the murder. It's like, but what I really found interesting, that's actually made her stop working with them completely. Like, from the trailer, I thought it was just going to be they argue for a bit and then she comes back. It's like, no, she actually completely they don't work together for the rest of the movie, which honestly, I kind of like that, because one, it kept the focus on the brothers,
yeah,
which was good. But also, too, it just made sense for her character. Like, what could you say to get her to work with him again? She was already hesitant about doing it, and now working with a flat-out killer. Like, how do you convince her? It just, it just. I like that they actually kind of stuck with it. It's like, no, we're not going to work together anymore.
Yeah, and when you think about it too, right? Rewatching the first one, I was reminded of her journey, right? Because she's kind of in the first one being, mentored by Raymond King to take over, and that's what she
Yeah,
does essentially in
exactly.
this one. So the more that I, like I said, that like even the J.K. Simmons part, it made sense rewatching the first one. It's the natural progression of the story, in my opinion. This is how it had to happen. I just love J.K. Simmons. I think we all do. Omni-Man. And I know Ben Affleck does too. He is a fan of a show that Bat Dan doesn't watch anymore, but I did. And I do think that once you do watch it, if you do, you will see a lot of Zack Snyder stuff in it. And that's why Ben Affleck and his son are a fan of that series that is also
You can say it, Invincible, which for those of you
Invincible.
who don't know,
Yes.
I do not watch that show because I do not like that Ezra Miller's recast as D.A. Sinclair. They can say all they want about scheduling conflicts. We both know what the reason was, and my thing is the only way to stop cancel culture is to stop supporting it. So I've taken especially, and look, I don't judge other people for watching. I mean, heck, Ben Affleck even watches it, and we know Ben Affleck's for Ezra Miller, but me, I just taken such a strong stance on social media that I feel like I would be a hypocrite if I watched that show. And I always try to stand by my beliefs. If I say something, I stick with it. But
That's tough too.
anyway, thank you. But anyways, with the account, I guess that final fight scene with Ben Affleck, with Christian Wolf and Braxton, and them going through like saving those kids, like I'm sorry, that was just so satisfying to me though. Like I love seeing in movies seeing bad people get killed, like scumbags who, especially if you kidnap children, if you traffic children, you hurt children anyway. I do not feel bad what happens to you. I don't know if that gets me canceled saying live on YouTube, but if someone tries to cancel me for that, then I have to question their motives. So, anyways, like I just seeing scumbags like that getting what they deserve, it's so satisfying to see. It's really satisfying to so cool to see that. And then, you think Braxton is going to die at a certain point, and then he doesn't, and
Can I
then
ask you something? How did you feel about the headshot scenes? Because I was so on my first viewing just uncomfortable with how realistic the head, like I would know that there was a headshot scene coming and I would literally like start to do this because they filmed it so freaking Gavin O'Connor. I was just so visceral. Like every headshot scene to me, it was loud, it was gruesome, it was violent, just like you would expect a real headshot to look like, which I've never witnessed in person. But I just would, the tension was so palpable, in my opinion, in the theater. Did you feel that at all watching because there's a sniper
no,
in the movie?
I can be pretty like, I don't know, like I don't want to say tolerant of that stuff, or I can be pretty. I don't know. I'm pretty much numb to a lot of that stuff when I see it in movies. Honestly, like when I did watch Invincible, all that violence, it was just kind of like it's just cool television. I don't know, like stuff like that doesn't really bother me too much, especially when it's just movies, even if it's realistic. Because, and I appreciate the effort to make it look real, but the fact that you were uncomfortable with it a little bit, I think that was good though, because I think it showed they want to make it look realistic. Because you were watching a movie. You
Mhm. You're evil.
sucks.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
rewatched it in Dolby Atmos sound, and it was like I knew the headshots were coming, right? And if you think about it, it's actually why was I uncomfortable with it? Well, the sniper who shoots J.K. Simmons, spoiler, luckily it's a bad guy, right? So all the scenes with the sniper when it happens are good. Well, not everyone. Uh by the way, did you get the Jared Leto Joker reference that I haven't seen many people talk about except me?
I have not. That flew over my head. No.
Ah, ah, ah. Did you not see the hand tattoo that was Joker's hand tattoo? The exact same tattoo.
That must have flown over my head completely.
You need to rewatch The Accountant too, Bat Dan. That was there for a reason. Just saying. The one who's locked up in the trunk. It's Jared Leto's Joker hand tattoo.
Okay.
Why is that there, Bat Dan? Coincidence?
Nope. Not at all. And hey, you know, with headshot scenes, I mean, hey, if Deadshot's because I know we all want Ben Affleck to direct it, but if he can't, and I think Gavin O'Connor would be a good choice because I think he's one of Ben Affleck's go-to directors when he doesn't do it. Is that?
Yeah.
So
yeah, they have a great relationship.
If you have, like, let's say another Batman villain in the movie, you know, let's say a certain guy who's been known to slap people. That would be a good scene, but so you were saying what do you think about the setup for the next movie?
So if you really think about it, right, like you were talking about, Christian Wolf is he's a generous guy. He donates to the neuro science academy, right, that basically helps him. And they're a team of highly intelligent, although they're labeled as disabled, right, technically. They are high functioning individuals who are hyper intelligent and capable of amazing things. So I got the sense there is a child, right, that the MacGuffin to rescue, and then they get to that point. And I guess we technically can spoil it, but there's a twist, right, with the character, and I just felt like that character's journey is left open, right? That character still has a journey and a story to tell. Braxton and Ben Affleck, or Braxton and Christian, are together now and united. So it sounds like they're going to be working together. Medina, there's oh my God, that scene with her. I got to give a shout out. Cynthia Robinson, Adina Robinson, I think her name. That scene, right, is so tense when you see Batfleck on the bat cycle speeding to try to save her, and then what happens to her. And I was just so heartbroken because I loved her from the first one, even though she's kind of like a foil for Christian Wolf and Braxton Wolf. You end up I cared for her, right? And she put up such a fight, but against somebody who is kind of has no feeling and other worldly, in my opinion, strength wise and skill wise. I just got the sense that there was not an end of the road for this franchise, although if more people don't go see it, it might be. So go support The Accountant 2 in theaters. It's really not performing well, be honest. And I think a lot of people did not see the first one. So get your ass to the theater and see it if you haven't. You know who you are. Yeah, I think it's a great franchise. I felt like the mythology was brought in. I would like to see a part 3. So that's maybe just wishful thinking, but I did really enjoy what was, in my opinion, a setup for more for these characters. And I think that's why Ben wanted to come back, is that if you listen to the interviews, it was all about the character's progression. And if you really look at what happened story-wise, it makes sense for everything to happen like the way it did. It would make sense for someone like Christian Wolf to tell his brother, I'll find you, and then 8 years later, then find him, right? He did, but Braxton was like, where the fuck are you? I've been waiting. And I love that at the center of John Berthol's performance, right? It's all coming from a place of love, right? He's pissed off at his brother because he loves him and he's so loyal to him. And because that's how he was raised all his life, taking up for his brother and being there for his brother. And, even though he's the younger brother, right? And so, of course, Christian did the same thing, did it from afar. So I just really want to see more of these two. I want to see Batfleck and Punisher once again. And so go support Accountant 2 in theaters as soon as you can.
Exactly. Well said, Josh. And also just saying, it's a movie where Warner Brothers is working with another studio because there's that Warner Brothers logo too. They're willing to work with other studios. Just saying.
Hey, this
So,
is a property that's licensed to Amazon MGM. It still has a Warner Brothers Pictures logo on it. So this was licensed, just saying.
and before to wrap up this review, what would you rate this movie as? What would you, out of 10?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. After rewatching the first one, I will admit I prefer the first one, right? I'm a huge Anna Kendrick fan. Huge. I actually just saw Another Simple Favor, which I highly recommend. Just came out yesterday on Amazon Prime with Blake Lively. Go check that out if you're a fan of that. And it makes sense, right? Accountant 2 just came out and Another Simple Favor just came out. So she had to choose, and contractually she had to choose this role that she was a bigger part of, which was Another Simple Favor. So they ended up, it's funny that Anna Kendrick and Ben Affleck movies came out, so filming wise, they couldn't do both. So she was so severely missed. So I prefer The Accountant 1. However, due to the camaraderie of the brothers and the performance from John and Ben Affleck, I've heard some people say, yeah, this one's funnier and more audience friendly. So I prefer part 2. I prefer part 1, but I would give it, I had some gripes, and I know some people had some gripes. So I would give it like a solid 8. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
That's fair. I think for me, I really like the movie. I think, some slow parts here and there, and I'd have to rewatch both movies to decide which I like better. So I think for me, I will give it an 8.592346859234592 out of 10. I love the movie. It's a great movie, and we need to support it in theaters.
Yes.
And another movie we need to support when it's on Netflix. Our Cyborg made a post for Netflix's Animals, which is a Netflix movie. But wait, why do I have Ben Affleck in the title of this? Why did I put Ben Affleck in this title? What was I thinking?
God, Dan, you're slipping.
But look, Animals, but really, for those who don't know, I was being kind of sarcastic there. But the Animals stars and is directed by Ben Affleck. So our Batman is starring and directing a movie that has our Cyborg in it. And it's on Netflix. So it's interesting that Ben Affleck's actually willing to star and direct in a Netflix project with artist equity. That's so interesting, Josh.
You know what I said about coincidences earlier?
Yeah. And he's working with Zack's other cast members too. Zack Snyder's other cast members. I mean, here's Ray Fisher embracing to be in this movie.
I mean, Justice League on and off screen, right? But yeah, Ben Affleck, if you've seen him in interviews, praise the hell out of Ray Fisher. Ben Affleck being essentially the star, I think, of Zack Snyder's Justice League. He really, really went in on how, incredibly blown away he was by Ray Fisher's performance. And talked about, how basically Bray was down. And I'm sure, with Ray Fisher being so vocal and speaking out against the Hollywood system when nobody else really could, right? I'm sure that impressed Ben Affleck. And, someone so young who had, everything to lose, didn't care. He was more worried about the accountability and being the real life Victor Stone and what Victor Stone would stand for, right? And what he would accept and what he wouldn't accept. So shout out to Ray Fisher, aka Darian Blood X, for being so immaculate behind the scenes as well as on screen. And I can't wait to see Cyborg and Batfleck team up once again. It's all about team ups. World's finest, Punisher and Batfleck, and now Cyborg and Batfleck. What the hell, Batman? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, real quick, I forgot to say this. when I got home, so I saw basically Punisher and Daredevil team up, and when I got home, I saw Punisher and Daredevil team up in the Daredevil Born Again season finale. So forgot to point that out.
Yeah,
so
that too. That was worth it. Finally, took forever, but yes, we finally got to see it.
Anyway, back to this. I like what you said, Josh. And it's so funny. A lot of people were mad that like more of the cast didn't stand up for Ray Fisher as vocally. And here's the thing. And here's my thought with this. I've always said that. What up, El Necron?
Hey, there he is.
I appreciate it. Just make sure you drive safe. Anyways,
Lord Necron to you, One Punch Lame.
Well, no, actually, at this point, he's Ward Necron now.
Oh, that's true. You that was clever, Batman. Damn, I didn't know you had it in you.
But anyways, a lot of people were saying, like, why didn't the cast stand up for Ray Fisher more? And I've always said, look, it's great that Ray Fisher was willing to do that, but I'm not going to judge every actor who doesn't do that, because it is their livelihood. It's not an easy thing to do. And then there's like cases like Ben Affleck where he actually gave Ray Fisher a job. Yeah, he could have said some words, but he gave Ray Fisher a job. He was willing to do that. Like that's not nothing. That's something. That's huge. And I really like that. It shows that Ben Affleck is loyal to the SnyderVerse cast, and it shows that Netflix keeps working with Ray Fisher. Ben Affleck keeps working with Ray Fisher. So if, let's say, a certain DC movie comes out,
I gotta say that's actually credited to Isage, I believe.
yes,
who's basically created by ZodWriter. So shout out to ZodWriter.
But yeah, it was so cool seeing Ray Fisher embracing that post, and I think it comes out. What day does that come out again? It's so funny. Like you type in animals, and it's like I have to type in Netflix, and God, I swear, Google is so annoying sometimes. Okay, animals movie net. Okay, I literally had this on Netflix earlier. Now it's like, oh, we are not gonna show like the Wikipedia page for it. But anyways,
I see it. It comes out. Well, no, there's no release date.
Well, it says, but it's weird because if you look on Ray Fisher's post, that here, I'm actually gonna go. Hold on a second. I'm actually gonna go to the post.
It started filming on March 7th in Los Angeles.
Okay, March. Yeah, it's not coming out this. Let's see what this says, though. It's lost. See it. It's weird though. When I do the close up, it. Oh, well, let me share my screen out. No, because
I didn't know about this. Did you know, Bat Dan, that of course Matt Damon's starring, but Electro was supposed to join the cast. Very interesting. If you know, you know.
Really?
Deadpool and Wolverine. Daredevil?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So interesting that Jennifer Garner was in talks to join the cast.
It's
from the
weird though. It says lost.
Jenny from the hood.
Or sorry, we're gonna say.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I just make a joke.
It's weird because Ray Fisher or that post says Los Angeles 2025. So I don't know if that's just when it takes place or.
Yeah. So they're basically they were just announcing filming back then. So it started filming March 7th, 2025. Usually, you got to finish. You get no telling. There could be delays, and then they'll find a release date after filming.
Okay. Well,
as somebody who's been on set on a few movies, if you know, you know.
Yep. Oh yeah, which means that's why we're gonna have you for one of our Socks and I are gonna have to have you for one of our Spider-Man reviews. You know which one.
I do.
So, but anyways, this was really great to see. But he's willing to work with Zack Snyder's cast, but would he be willing to be Zack Snyder's Batman again?
Ooh.
This was really interesting. So I'm still sharing. Still sharing that. So let's see. Let me just pull up a post real quick by I'm going to pull up a post by our Flash. I tried to get the video, but Twitter does not let you download videos. Ooh, nice shirt. Nice.
If you actually understand the reference, do you know what pose he is making? This is Batman the Animated Series.
Kevin Conroy, yeah.
I freaking love this shirt, and I found it at my local grocery store, and I cut it to make it a muscle shirt, as you can see. And now I can't find another one, and I want another one with the sleeves on because when it's cold. But yeah, Ben Affleck knew what he was doing with this shirt. He knows how iconic Kevin Conroy is. Come on, let's go. Go.
Hey,
back as Batman.
Hey, it's possible. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, it's possible. Okay.
Thank you. Back as Batman.
Hey, it's possible. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just had to play that a few times, but really interesting. Really, really interesting, though. Like, I mean, this is not the first time, though, he said this, because full circle, he went out of his way to say he would be interested in doing the Batfleck movie. You know, thank you, Josh, for that one, by the way. And now it's like, here, anything's possible. Why don't you? He could have said no. He could have said, hey, you know, look, I'm not doing this. He could have even said no comment. He could have said, hey, you know, I want to focus on the accountant too. He's like, anything's possible.
It's funny how, like, you know, it's such a desperate narrative by these trades and these reporters. And every time, right, when we know what fans are going to clamor for, Ben Affleck's not dumb. He's been in this business. This man is over, 50 years old. He knows. He started at a young age. He knows what's up. And so it's funny how there's narratives and articles. Oh, he's so done. And then we are given these little tidbits and proof that he's not, the man knows. There's a freaking confirmed by, what's her name? Ice Spice confirmed Ben Affleck has a huge Batfleck statue in Artist Equity Lobby, which he owns with Matt freaking Damon, the talented Mr. Ripped, apparently people are calling him because of the Odyssey. If you know, you know. So yeah, the man has a whole bat cave, which I still want to see one day in his house. Ben Affleck is Batman. He will always be Batman. Hell, look, this pose is of the GOAT, Kevin Conroy Batman, who freaking gave props to Ben Affleck's performance. The best Batman. Quoted from Rest in Peace, Kevin Conroy. What are we talking about here? We're really just going to try to not have this iconic Bruce Wayne Batman come back. The Batman. I'm sorry for all you Bats fans, Patman fans. The Batman is Ben fucking Affleck. And he will come back if Zack comes back. That's what
exactly. I mean, because here's the thing. He filmed additional photography for the Snyder Cut. And people will be like, well, that was only a few minutes. That was only a few minutes. Those few minutes were literally setting up more movies with him as Batman. I mean, if Ben Affleck was really not going to be back as Batman, if he was like, hey, I'm done, I don't think he would have come back for that, because I'd be like, hey, he'd be like, hey, Zack, look, I don't want to give hope that I'm going to be back as Batman again. He wouldn't do that. That would be irresponsible, in my opinion. He's willing to, like, he has shown that he's willing to come back. And again, here, he's willing to come back. Because really, for Ben Affleck to have his story completed, it's only 2 more productions. The Batfleck movie and ZSJL 2 and 3, which would be filmed back to back. So that's 1 production. I mean, it could be done. People will be like, oh, is that all? Yeah, that's all. And I know it sounds like a lot, but that's also a lot of work for him and a lot of money for him. And you don't think Artist Equity would like a Batfleck movie?
Hey, Richard Citrone wants it. I don't know if you saw that, but Richard Citrone.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, that's actually a good point, Josh. Thank you. 300 Stuntman. Where was that post?
The man who made the iconic warehouse fight scene that is still going on 10 years undefeated, unmatched in any form, live action, animation, or nothing. I'm sorry, it's the best Batman action sequence ever. And I love my Batman movies. But
I mean, here's him supporting the statue.
yeah,
And
that's that's iconic. I mean, that's the man who basically has made Ben Affleck us fall in love with his iconic performance, right? And basically saying, "Oh yeah, I'll come back." He was a part of Rebel Moon, so he's a working actor.
and Army of the Dead.
Yep, that's our Zeus. Zeus.
Our Zeus, our Batman, and our member of the Mother World of Noble's Men.
Yeah,
Period.
The Kryptonian. The Kryptonian. He's the one with the beard that
Yes.
ends up taking out. Rest in peace to Nemesis. But hey, that little kid gave him what he.
Oh yeah, where Nemesis died teaching a kid bad grammar. It's not
Yeah.
you did good, it's you did well.
I hope the grammar police is part of One Punch Lame's personality.
Hey, I can be petty sometime. I mean, heck, I even reported someone for littering yesterday, even too.
I don't know if you know, but down here in Texas, we make our own words, y'all. Y'all need to recognize.
Hey, I've seen Young Sheldon and spinoffs.
Oh, it's in Texas, right? I don't watch that show, but that is in
Yeah.
Texas, right?
I mean, well, actually, I'll say this: Young Sheldon is better than The Big Bang Theory, in my opinion.
Really interesting. Okay.
Also, I'm not really a big fan of The Big Bang Theory. Didn't really age well for me. I'll say, like, I liked it when I first saw it, but one, it went on too long, and Sheldon also threw shade at Batfleck in the last season, so that was a big no for me.
Well, you know, it's in touch. I feel like it's in touch with that show's reputation. I don't know if you remember, but they came to Comic-Con. Basically, everyone was like, "Why the hell are you here? We don't like you. We don't like your show. You're making fun of us." And they never came back, so they got kicked out of Comic-Con.
Oh, interesting.
Out of here.
Yeah, it's like Young Sheldon's less of a comedy, so I think for my taste. But anyways,
You feel my pain, Cordovan speaks. You feel my pain.
yeah, no, I do that all. Yep, of course, Sox and I do that all the time. But yep, Ben Affleck would be willing to return. He said this because I'll take his word over a trade's word over a trade running with a Justice League narrative. Which this really irritates me so much. It's like there is one detractor that he's like, well, Ben Affleck's not. I mean, why are you trying to like stop Ben Affleck from doing other projects? Of course, he's going to say anything's possible. He's not going to close himself off to other projects. Absolutely not. Remember that. Remember that when
Yep.
people ask him if he would be willing to work for James Gunn's DC or do something in the DCU, and Ben Affleck said, absolutely not. And he specifically specified James Gunn's DC. Not DC. James Gunn's DC.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Ben Affleck will retract, will say no if he knows he will not do it. Because here's the thing about Ben Affleck is that Sox, you're married. Oh yeah, right, Harley Quinn. Another show I stopped watching actually.
It kind of the last season was kind of like, I think it's over. I mean, season 5. I liked it, but it is kind of just like it ended like it's basically a Superman season. So absolutely not. Let him know, Lord Nick Ron.
Josh, what's your thought on all these detractors? Even now, even after Ben Affleck's words, still trying to twist the narrative.
It's desperate. Shout out to you, Batman. I've seen you've been going in on them too. So shout out to you. I mean, because yeah, we have to, right? Ben knows. Like Ben knows is like, I'm just gonna let whatever. It's whatever. And then I'm gonna say what I really feel. And I will say that, I don't know. There's some news circulating around spaces and people and groups that are Snyder fans that aren't really part of our little community. But from what I've heard hearsay is that the reason Ben Affleck did the Flash, right, is because the intention was they were going to bring back Zack. And we know this, right? That's why he filmed a scene in Aquaman 2. It's a big part of the movie. That's why he was apparently a part of Blue Beetle, voice only, apparently. And he was at one time supposed to be coming back. Now, I don't know. I don't know if this is true. I just have heard it. He was coming back for his Batfleck series. And then executives got involved and apparently told him, oh, yeah, we'll do this without Zack. And then Ben was like, this is the same. After they got him to film his cameos, they, you know, basically pulled the same shit. And he's like, I'm not fucking doing this again. So I'm out after, you know, the Flash. And then, of course, they cut his Blue Beetle dialogue scene post-credit. And then they cut his whole act of Aquaman 2, leading to so much reshoots because not bringing back Zack. And apparently it was Toby Emmerich. Shout out to the Bishop, my partner in justice, the real stars of One Punch Dan, coming out trailer on May 30th. What's up, buddy? But yeah, I don't know if that's true, but I'm hearing that from other Snyder fans. And it would make sense to me, right? Because Ben Affleck, regardless of how some of the people in this community felt, he loved coming back in The Flash, right? He loved working with Ezra. You can see it on set. We know he was part of that end of the movie and post-credit scene as well that would set up more of him in Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2, and beyond. And then they started doing the whole behind-the-scenes shit after he already filmed his stuff, even after Henry Cavill filmed his stuff, even after Gal Gadot's filmed her stuff, right? I want to apologize to Gal, our Wonder Woman. I've been saying Gal Gadot. I've realized that. I was like, why did I say that? I know how to say her name. Love you, Wonder Woman. And so Gal Gadot, you know, even filmed her stuff. And they started doing the same behind the scenes stuff because of Emmerich. And yeah, it is what it is. But Ben does want to come back. He just will only come back for Zack at this point. So it makes sense to me.
Exactly. It makes, and again, listen to Ben Affleck's words. It's like, again, they keep doing this narrative of, oh, he's just saying that for X and Y reason. It's like, no, this is not a clickbait headline. This is an actual video of him saying this. Which, you know, shout out to Skywalker, by the way, for trying to get that answer himself from Ben Affleck. You know, for those who don't know, he was in line for the Accountant 2 premiere in Los Angeles. Didn't quite make it in time for, well, like, to get a good spot in line before it filled up. But hey, at least we got that answer. We got that answer from Ben Affleck, and let's listen to his words. It's like, it's weird how much energy people put in to him not returning. Like, you guys are really obsessed with, like, him not wanting to come back. Like, how about you just let him speak for himself? I know that's, like, a weird thought. Like, it's our job as fans to campaign for what we want, and it's actors' jobs to decide what they can and will and want and can afford to do.
Yep.
Simple as that.
These narratives aren't going to control what an actor does. Nobody's going to control what an actor does. An actor wants to work. And post-COVID, I'm sorry, but we know, we're going to talk about something later. We know Hollywood is struggling, right? So these actors know that they need to go to these properties and these IPs that they're beloved in. That's why you get a Deadpool and Wolverine. That's why you get a Wesley Snipes back as Blade. That's why you get a Channing Tatum finally as Gambit. You get a Hugh Jackman back. You get a freaking Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Alan Cummings, James Marsden, Rebecca Romaine Stamos, X-Men. That's all that matters. Avengers are over. I'm sorry, Socks. Avengers are done. X-Men are coming. Anyways.
You're gonna take that, Socks? You're going to take that? Frank Cordovan speaker, Josh, are going to be beefing soon now.
No, we're going to start beefing, aren't we? All right, it's okay. Just Josh can take all the one punches and all the speeds and whatever. He can take it all. Right, Bishop? Bishop's got my back. But yes, the actors will speak for themselves. And I love that Ben Affleck is doing that taking back his power, because that was something that Bruce Wayne would do. He gave that answer and then he dipped, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what he did. And yep, Necron, that's exactly what's going on. It's ridiculous. And
hey, my man. All right, Socks. Good. We're on the same page. Hey, it's an Avengers movie technically, so thanks for the Avengers for letting the X-Men come in.
But anyways, Ben Affleck, he will come back. He has shown that he's willing to come back for Zack. And let's listen to what he's saying, not what these detractors are saying. And now we've covered Batman. Now let's cover Superman. Henry Cavill, happy belated birthday. So on Cinco de Mayo, Revenge of the 5th, whatever you want to call it, hashtag Cavill shot first. If you know, you know. Henry Cavill turned 42 today. He is now... See, he had a birthday, so I just want to give a quick shout out to Henry Cavill for his birthday. And yep, exactly, Necron. So
happy birthday to Superman, the greatest Superman of all time.
Thank you for the foreshadowing, Josh. Thank you for the foreshadowing, because there is someone who did wish Henry Cavill a happy birthday. And we will get to that. We got some other things we got to cover first, but of course, we just, again, had to say real quick, happy birthday, Henry Cavill.
How did you feel on Cinco de Mayo, Revenge of the 5th day, a.k.a. Happy Birthday, Henry Cavill Day?
Well, I felt great. I got some stuff. We'll talk about the trending later, but just... Sky and I did a great review of Revenge of the Sith, which maybe in hindsight we should have done on Revenge of the 5th, but I didn't really think that far ahead. But also, it was probably better to focus on Henry Cavill's birthday. But just do want to point out, though, Netflix will likely be working with Cavill in a Han Solo type of role on Rebel Moon, as Mikey Sutton scooped this, and Sin Havoc backs up by saying Cavill shot first, Cavill shot first. And I think it was Sin Havoc who shared that meme where it's in Empire or Return of the Jedi when Han. Yep, that one with Henry Cavill's face on it. Which it's funny, Josh. When I saw, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Charlie Hunnam's character, Kai.
Ooh.
I was like thinking, wait, this is the Han Solo character. What's Henry Cavill going to be until he betrayed everyone?
I think that was the original idea for Han Solo, to betray. So he is actually really kind of was the original Han Solo.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was not supposed to. I don't think he was supposed to originally be an anti-hero. But
that's a good point. Thanks for reminding us, Sin Havoc. Henry Cavill finished filming Voltron. They keep saying Cavill's too busy to do other roles, but I mean, one of his roles he's done with now, for now. I mean, in terms of what he needs to do, he's done. He'll promote it, he'll do all that, but filming, that's done. But also, real quick, Justice for Fives. I mentioned Star Wars, so Justice for Fives. But anyways, yeah, Henry Cavill has a lot of work coming out, so our birthday boy.
Yes, he does. He he's still living life large, and he's living a super lifestyle from what I understand. He's a father now, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. That's all I'll say.
Exactly. Warhammer is coming out, Highlander. Henry Cavill has a lot of roles coming out, but
Enola Holmes
one that
I think is coming out too.
What's coming out? Oh, Enola Holmes, where you said?
Mm-hmm. On Netflix.
Which is, a Netflix movie. Despite what happened with The Witcher, Henry Cavill's still willing to work with Netflix.
Shout out to Bo DiMaio. If you know, you know.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize that Bo DiMaio... I actually found out over the summer that Bo DiMaio was involved in that show. I had no idea that he was involved in the good season of The Witcher.
And you remember how I don't know if you remember when Witcher was happening, but there was all this behind the scenes coming out that was anti-Henry Cavill about how toxic he was and blah, blah, blah. I know you haven't seen X-Men 97, Dan, but if you look at the negativity directed at Beau DeMaio, it's oddly very reminiscent of the same criticisms that were against Henry Cavill. And it's interesting that both Beau and Henry Cavill are kind of like this and have nothing but great things to say about each other as far as working relationships and creativity and collaboration. So it's just interesting how the narratives and the parademons just keep trying to fly like little flies.
Which actually, both some of you may know, Beau DeMaio and I actually did exchange DMs one time. It started with a bit of an argument. I'm not going to lie, but we resolved it. We handled it like men or like grown adults, to be politically correct. And he told me Man of Steel is underrated. He told me this. He loves Man of Steel.
There it is.
What's X-Men 87? I haven't heard of that show.
87.
Oh.
That's that Pride of the X-Men, I think. Cartoon, if you know, you know.
Oh yeah, Rebel Moon Theory. You gonna do any Cavill videos soon?
I wonder where he got that video. If you know, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a feeling that Rebel Moon Theory asked permission first. I have on good authority that he asked permission first before using that video. So shout out to Rebel Moon Theory. But yep. Well, I have not watched Witcher season 3. Once they announced he was leaving The Witcher, I'm like, I'm not getting invested in the show anymore. I'm done. But anyways,
hey, what's up, Skywalker? I saw him earlier in the chat, but I was rambling. What's up, buddy? I hope you didn't listen to the spoiler section that we were talking about, but it is what it is.
Oh, right. He hasn't seen Accountant 2 yet. That's probably why he left. Which, by the way, people, no more Accountant 2 spoilers in the chat, please. I mean, no one's done it, but just since you brought it up, now that we're past the spoiler section, let's keep this spoiler free.
True.
Which
I know. Bat Dan, once you see X-Men 97, you're season 1, because we saw what Skywalker is saying. Season 1, thanks to Beau DeMaio. Thank you, Beau DeMaio. Hashtag thank you, Beau DeMaio. You will see it's basically, in my opinion, a Snyder-esque love fest and something on the level of a Zack Snyder animation. Twilight of the Gods. I'm just saying. Epic.
I still got a lot of, Socks and Zod, I promise you we'll get to that X-Men review show. I know I keep saying that. We will get to that. It may take a while, but that's why I haven't watched X-Men 97, because we have to go through the X-Men review show where I watch X-Men 92 for the first time before I get to 97. But anyways.
The Phoenix Saga, which I'm still supposed to be a part of, by the way, when you do the Phoenix Saga. I've already said that I'm got to come on that show. Because I don't know if you know, I have a shrine of the Phoenix. I'm over there.
Okay, we'll make sure that happens. We will make sure that happens.
Specifically, the Dark Phoenix Saga.
But anyways, we talk about Henry Cavill's other roles. Now let's get into the post-trending day coverage, where here we are. Look, what's this word? What's this word on the right side? Entertainment. So not trending for me, just trending in general. So for those of you who don't know, there are two main hashtags for this trending day. Henry Cavill, hashtag Henry Cavill Superman, and Happy Birthday Henry Cavill, which look, Henry Cavill Superman's trending with Happy Birthday Henry Cavill.
Boom.
And we'll get into someone who posted for Henry Cavill on his birthday. But aside from that, what were your thoughts on the trending day, Josh?
I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who participated. We made noise. I don't know if you know, Bat Dan. We were actually, for people who don't know, we were kind of, me and Bat Dan were maybe going to think about streaming over the weekend. If you can't tell, I am actually still getting over a sickness. I've been sick for like 2 weeks. Been taking care of like family stuff, and I'm going in the hospital every day due to family stuff, and picked up something, I think. And so I have been under the weather. I did go to Free Comic Book Day, but I was like when I was not filming myself and doing selfies, like coughing and sneezing and stuff. But I did go to Free Comic Book Day. You can see all of them here. Here is a free Fangoria. If you're
hold on. Let me.
familiar with The
Okay.
Last of Us, this is exclusive to my local comic book shop. And check out. Oh, there's some other ones. But yeah, I came at Free Comic Book Day dressed in Henry Cavill Superman, the full circle shirt that I wore, same shorts. I had the same glasses, and I also had a baseball cap because I hated my haircut, but I got it today. So I hated how my hair was growing based on my old haircut. So I had to get fresh for you, Bat Dan. Anyway,
you.
I got a lot of good feedback. I was like, people were pointing like Superman. They didn't say Henry Cavill Superman. They just saw Superman, you know. And there was actually a giveaway at my local comic book shop for a Batfleck Play Arts statue, and I didn't win it, but I put in the comments, I was like, hey, if nobody claims this, I'll put in an offer for it. So I'm waiting to hear back from my local comic book shop if anybody claimed that Batfleck statue. But I do have a Hot Toys statue on its way. My first ever Hot Toy that I ordered is finally, I ordered in 2024. The Batfleck 2.0 is on its way. But I do have a Superman that I still need to unbox, the black suit Superman and the Nightmare Batman right over there. So stay tuned. That might be coming soon. But yes, Henry Cavill birthday coverage. We made noise. Hashtag Henry Cavill was trending. Hashtag Henry Cavill Superman was trending. Hashtag Happy Birthday Henry Cavill was trending. Other things were trending based off of something else. Cell was trending. Yes, Restore was trending. Cavill was trending. Yeah, there was a lot trending. So we all pulled our efforts together and made noise. And I really just want to give a shout out to all you guys who made Revenge of the Fifth something to remember, in my opinion. Happy birthday to Henry Cavill. You are Superman, and you are the greatest of all time.
Yeah, which we know who said that. And since, we mentioned Revenge of the Fifth, don't forget, guys, if you have not seen it, check out Sky's and my review of Revenge of the Sith, 20 years in theaters. Check that out. 5's this big I told you so moment. So definitely check that one out. But now before we get to who tweeted for Henry Cavill, let's talk about someone who's trying to outtrend him. Now, in theory, this would make sense to do next after the topic that's coming after this, but I did not want to end the Henry Cavill segment on Gunny Poo. So we're doing this in an order that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to lie, but so here's Gunny Poo trying to, on Henry Cavill's birthday, mind you, can't just let Henry Cavill have the limelight. On Henry Cavill's birthday, he's like talking about Ozu and Crypto. This is like a video of James Gunn's dog, who, of course, had to insert his dog, well, not literally his dog, but a character based on his dog in Superman, not a white lab like Crypto's supposed to be, or a white lab equivalent, I should say, because technically speaking, on Krypton, species would be called different things, probably. So,
True.
I don't know how that all works exactly, but anyways, look, I mean, here, he only has 2.6K shares or reposts and 26K likes, which keep in mind, remember these numbers, people, remember these numbers. But it's like, again, this guy has such an ego. On Henry Cavill's birthday, he can't just let Henry Cavill have his day. He has to be like, no, here, look, my Superman movie. Like, what do you think about that, Josh?
Look at me. I mean, it's become a joke, right? Back then, like, I don't know if you've heard, and I don't know if this is true, but there's rumors now that the studio itself, WBD, is now telling and mandating James Gunn, stop promoting yourself. Because people are getting sick of him. And he's trying to, like, James Gunn's Superman, because he respects so much Zack as a guy, that he wants to be Zack Snyder, and he's not. He will never be. He keeps trying. It comes off as pathetic and desperate. But I do think it's purposeful and it's trying to piss people off, and it's working, right? So when you get pissed off and you tweet at him or you hashtag his hashtag Superman, do not do that. You are feeding into his bullshit, and do not hashtag super shit either. That's exactly what he wants. Do not play into that game. Do not be manipulated. Think outside the box. Be like Zack Snyder. And I just, yeah, there's a post. I don't know if you saw it, Bat Dan, but somebody superimposed James Gunn in front of the picture that was of Henry Cavill that we're going to talk about.
Oh,
and so it was like, this is what would
yeah.
happen if James Gunn posted "Happy Birthday, Henry Cavill."
Yes, I know what you're talking about, Josh. Or not this one. I did have this one. I know exactly what you're talking about, Josh. I even have this guy. Hold on. I definitely had this one in my. I lost this one in my feed. I'm just gonna go to the source directly. I know. Okay, good. I have it pulled up right now.
It's still
So I'm
going
gonna.
around, but it's so funny, right? And so the whole movie now that man is trying to make has become a meme, right?
You mean this one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's birthday, if James Gunn had written it.
Yep.
Or
Pretty.
Henry posts, if happy birthday to my friend, amazing actor and greatest Superman of all time, Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder, Justice League. That, yeah, this one right here.
I mean, it's true, right? And I think Hollywood now knows it. Hollywood can no longer defend the narrative that we're behind this, because we're not. I literally shout out to Matt G, who me, Sky, and some of the other Syndicate Network members met in person, who took the iconic photo of us and Brett Colbert in front of the Egyptian. He was telling me, like, yeah, dude, there's no hype for Super L in my area, where he lives. And I'm hearing the same thing. I've asked my mom point blank, Mom, have you seen? Nope. And there's no bias, right? Because I really try to, I see her a lot. We're dealing with family stuff, right? She knows I'm a Zack Snyder fan. And so I didn't tee her up. I didn't tell her, she knows about James Gunn and everything, but she has no idea about the Superman movie. And so she's like, oh, there's a Superman movie? And I was like, are people at work talking about it? She's like, no, I don't know anything about it. She's like, Lilo and Stitch, when does that come out? And I'm like, hell yeah, Lilo and Stitch. I can't fucking wait. But yeah, it's pathetic. It's desperate. We know it's this entire company that we love, right, is being sabotaged purposefully to become something that we hate. So we do, embrace the other company. And so are we going to play into that strategy or what? I mean, we can't help. I mean, I love X-Men, so I'm going to love what I love. But yeah, it's all a game. We're all rats in a maze, and we got to be better, and we got to think outside the box and break the maze. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. And I want to kind of say this. I find it really funny how people go after Ezra Miller for certain allegations that were retracted by the accuser, yet they give James Gunn a free pass, who actually tweeted stuff like that. No, allegedly. No, actually did it. You can find this. But they give Ezra a hard time for something that was debunked by the actual accuser.
Yep.
Want to say that. Just want to say, oh, really, Sin Havoc? Really?
Trouble in Paradise at DC Studios? Say it ain't so. Mild shock.
I mean, and again, as Gunny Poo himself said, is that, oh, yep, I know what you're talking about. And more information. Yep. Well, certain things we're not going to completely touch yet. But anyways,
we know.
Anyways, at the end of the day, he's just has full of ego, and the movie's going to flop. No one cares about this because you know what? Zack Snyder's post. Here's Zack Snyder's post right now. And this one I actually have here. Oh, hold on. Let me remove this banner real quick. So, as you can see, 12K reshares and 102K likes. So just again, kind of show the contrast of James Gunn's 2.8 reshares, 26K likes, 12K reshares, and 102K likes. So happy birthday to my friend, amazing actor, and greatest Superman of all time, Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Which, Josh, I gotta say, it's kind of funny that Zack Snyder will portray his friend James Gunn, who has a Superman movie coming out. The year it comes out, he's posting about his Superman, saying he's the greatest Superman of all time. Do you find that, it's almost like that, are he and James Gunn even friends if he's doing that?
I'm going to give my reaction that you know about. As soon as I saw that post, put that post back up real quick.
Okay, here we are.
Considering the day that it fell on, this is my reaction. It was amazing! Revenge of the Fifth indeed! I was cackling like freaking Palpatine. Yes, why did he hashtag those hashtags too? That was Zach saying, fuck DCU. Greatest Superman of all time. Zach knows what's up. Zach knows.
He didn't have to say that. He could have just been like, happy birthday to my friend Henry Cavill, great actor, an amazing actor, and good luck on Voltron, good luck on Warhammer, good luck on Highlander. Maybe he could have dropped a tease about him being in Rebel Moon. No, he specifically posted him as Superman. Mentioned giving hype for his Superman, which, again, that did better. That nostalgic Superman post did way better than a post promoting the current Superman movie coming out.
Yep, that's true.
And it's funny, Josh. People keep saying Zack Snyder's done with DC. He's done with DC. But, oh my God, I shared the wrong post. So here's a spoiler. That's a spoiler alert for a future topic. Fail on my part.
It's all good. That's why I got a camera. I was like, oh shit.
But anyways, I mean, you also can see it in the thumbnail that we're going to talk about this. So yeah, I mean, it just shows though, Josh, that Zack Snyder, people keep saying this, Josh, Zack Snyder's done with DC. Zack Snyder's done with DC. Zack Snyder's done with DC. I'm like, then why is he posting? If he's so done with DC, why is he posting this? Why is he posting? And he's not even on Twitter, Josh. He's barely on Twitter anymore, or X. I still call it Twitter. And he's posting this again.
Yep. Hey. And that's why that post had me Zactivated as fuck. I don't know about all y'all, but Zach knew what he was doing. He's being very strategic about his post. We, on your last stream, Bat Dan, we talked about, right, his first tweets in 2025 and what they are about. They are about DC. And these articles are being written now, and we'll talk about stuff, coming up. But yeah, it's thank you, Zach Edward freaking Snyder.
What post did you not see pop up? Rebel Moon Theory. Let me know. I'll make sure if that post pops.
At the bottom, the subject.
Oh, okay, good. But anyways, yes, also fresh. She should and not bully people who promote the air cuts. So owes you that apology, and not the AI one that Zodwriter made, the real David Ayer.
That's true. Osa's so cool. I wanna live Osa's life. That's some of the stuff he gets to experience. I'm like, man, that dude is living it right. And
yeah, Sin Havoc saying 10 years later. 10 years later.
Undefeated. Iconic.
But also, I have a feeling it has some... Remember, Zack Snyder said this publicly, too. It's funny. It used to be 5 years later, but he went out of his way to clarify 10 years now for Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. It's no longer 5 years later. It's 10 years later. Why clarify that? why did it change if it's no longer happening? What do you mean? It's just 5 years later because you're not doing it anymore, right?
Yep, that's true.
So, I guess, Josh, anything else you want to say about this?
I just want to thank Zack Snyder for being a great friend to the greatest Superman of all time, and he knows that Henry doesn't. Let's be honest, Henry does not have a Twitter. Whether or not he has, a lot of these celebrities have private Twitters. Basically, they're basically anonymous, and they get on there sometimes to see what people are saying, but not actively have a trail that they were on, social media looking at what other people think. So Zack didn't do that for Henry. I mean, he did, right? But he knew what he was doing. He did it for us. And he was making a point about, yeah, that one over there, that ain't it. That one over here, that's it. And that's the greatest Superman of all time. Thanks to Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. And Black Adam. Got to give props to Black Adam, too.
Yeah, he tried to bring our Superman back, and hopefully we can maybe see that Ben Affleck or that Black Adam v Superman movie. I still want to see that one too. But
Shout out to The Rock.
Exactly, Josh. Shout out to The Rock, and shout out to Zack Snyder. Just reminder, guys, one more production. Zack Snyder Justice League 2 and 3 filmed back to back to properly finish Henry Cavill's story as Superman. We'd love to see more, but to the bare minimum to finish that story is one more production. 2 movies filmed back to back.
Yes, sir.
So, shout out to Zack. And, speaking of which, Josh, I have a question. Are you ready to talk more Zack Snyder?
Am I ready to talk more Zack Snyder?
Yes.
Does this answer your question, Batman?
Zack Snyder, Zack Snyder, Zack Snyder, Zack Snyder, Zack Snyder, Zack Snyder.
I don't even have to chant because the man is on my chest and he's iconic. Let's fucking talk Zack Snyder, baby. The GOAT.
Yep, we know, Sin Havoc, we know. But before, we get to the topic that I spoiled, let's talk about the studio because... Okay, so Josh, just explain, why do I keep saying the studio? Why do I keep saying that?
Well, if you have an iPhone, like I do, I'm part of the Empire. But at least you can see that at least there's the Justice League on there. Hey, so what's up? The studio is a Apple TV Plus TV series that I've been talking about since March because I got to see the world premiere at South by Southwest along with the accountant too. And I was privy, and I still think that although it's a little slow as a series, anyone who is a Zack Snyder fan should watch this series because not only is it a series that talks and reveals about what it's like behind the scenes at Hollywood, you get to see the kind of bullshit that these actors and these producers like Deborah Snyder have to deal with working with these studio execs. And as time has gone on with the series, we're on episode 8 right now. It's only got 2 more episodes. I got to see the first 2 at South by Southwest, but I was immediately hooked. If you aren't sold on the show or don't know what it's about, Seth Rogen plays a studio executive in a fictitious studio by the name of Continental Studios.
Hold on, let me just pull that up. Okay, there we are.
Right there. We got these fancy little hats. I actually have a few of them. But this is Continental Studios. And if you watch the series, you can kind of make assumptions about what studio they're kind of portraying. Very historic studios. And so then there's different cameos of celebrities, right, playing themselves. Although some celebrities are playing other fictitious, like Seth Rogen is playing, like a made-up studio exec. So he's not Seth Rogen, but then in another, episode, an actor will be playing themselves, right? So you're like, oh, okay. So it's a cool concept, but essentially the premise is around a studio exec getting mandated to make a Kool-Aid movie. And then all the ins and outs that come with, okay, direction, tone, cinematography, cast, like all that drama, PR. And so it's a series that I think anyone who's interested in filmmaking will be interested in, because you get to see what it's kind of like. And I will say it does, on the surface, in my opinion, it's Seth Rogen trying to give a little empathy for the studio exec, but at the same time call them out for their bullshit. He does it in a very cheeky way, and I really respect the hell. I mean, I don't know if you know, Bat Dan, but Seth Rogen is in charge of all, basically, Invincible. He's in charge of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's in charge of a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we as geeks and nerds are a fan of. And he is, I think, a reason to watch the series, because there's so many nerdy Easter eggs that he puts into every episode for someone like me who's like, oh, that actor was in, this comic book movie and la la la. So I won't spoil stuff. What's up, South Cali guy? But I highly recommend The Studio on Apple TV Plus.
So, Josh, I want to show some pictures. Someone took, let me take us down it now. Someone took some really good pictures at this event.
Yeah, that looks like row 3 to me, front and center. That is Seth Rogen.
And there's an Agatha.
That is
it was Agatha.
Catherine Hahn. Yes, she is a riot. So Catherine Hahn plays the publicist, the PR person. Catherine O'Hara, iconic from, most people know her from Beetlejuice, Schitt's Creek, but she's now playing an iconic role. If you are not a fan of Catherine O'Hara, watch The Studio, the first episode. You will instantly become a fan of her. She is iconic. So she plays, I don't want to spoil too much, but she plays the studio exec that gets fired, that Seth Rogen replaces. But then you find out that Seth Rogen was mentored by her. And so now that he has her job, what's going to happen? And so there's a lot of drama. But then Ike Barinholtz, if you put that picture back up, you might remember a security guard in Suicide Squad 2016 who teased Floyd Lawton, Deadshot, in his cell. That is Suicide Squad actor. 2016 Suicide Squad actor Ike Barinholtz. So this show, The Studio, is actually created by those two, Seth Rogen and Ike Barinholtz. They are behind the scenes. They are the writers and producers, but they are also starring in it as well. And Ike plays essentially somebody who was up for the job to replace Catherine O'Hara. So him and Seth Rogen are kind of like at odds at first, and then they end up having to work together. So there's amazing comedy that comes out of that dynamic. So, and then of course, I think it's Chase, the female. She plays the intern or assistant of Seth Rogen. So it's pretty amazing. I'm a fan of it. Some of the first 3 episodes kind of deal with the main plot, and then it kind of goes into like little side stories that are a little slow, I will admit. But now in episode 7 and 8, they are getting back to the Kool-Aid plot, and you get to see who's cast as the Kool-Aid Man, and it's hilarious. So I highly recommend it.
And can you talk about, I guess, your experience? Because you were at the world premiere, weren't you? That's
Yes.
how you got those pictures?
So
How was that?
I did not. So South by Southwest is an event. It's 3 things, more or less. It started off, we are the live music capital of the world here in Austin, Texas. So it primarily was music. And over the years, it started bringing film. So South by Southwest film was added. And then after that got popular, then technology. So interactive. So there's 3 components. There's South by Southwest music, South by Southwest film, and South by Southwest interactive. You can get a platinum pass, which is like a badge, to go to all of them, which is like thousands of dollars. Or you could get only music, only film, or only interactive for just technology. The film part of it, because of what attention, right, and how much celebrities come out of that, the film has now become like the opening part of it. So that usually starts off the first weekend. It's kind of like a 2-week thing. They're shortening it for next year. It's a long story. But it usually was a 2-week thing. So I got a friend who I met. You guys know I go to advanced screenings. And a friend that I met, conveniently enough, Dan, guess what screening we met at? The Flash movie, where I was dressed as the Flash. And I, to this day, as of right now, May 7th, 2025, I am still saved in her phone as the Flash because I was dressed as Ezra Miller's Flash. And that's my nickname. She's always like, hey, Flash. She doesn't even call me Josh anymore. She's like, hey, Flash.
Sorry about that, Austin, if you're still in the chats.
Mm-hmm. So she is ADA, and she was able to get me into the building first. That's why I was in row 3. So shout out to her. And that's why, and I didn't have like any credentials. I didn't have a badge. I didn't pay any money. She got me in. So it's all because of her. And I got to see a Nicole Kidman movie. I got to see a Matthew McConaughey movie. I was supposed to be able to go see The Accountant 2 world premiere. There was drama. She wasn't feeling well. And then, but I did get to go to this encore presentation the next day. So that was thanks to her. So I'm very thankful to her for getting me into the world premiere of that. And so good friends, team up, world's finest. That's the theme, right? But it was amazing. I really enjoyed seeing the cast. Seth Rogen was a riot. I posted my post on my Twitter that you can go check out of him introducing the film with the other show creator, Jonathan Goldstein. I forget his name. And there's also a Q&A that does have spoilers from the first 2 episodes. So if you don't want to be spoiled, it's very minor spoilers. But the show is just creatively well done. Shout out to New Geeks Leon. I saw him talking about a certain clip that's circulating that we'll talk about and how it was filmed. And it's really the cinematography and how the episodes are filmed are very, it's almost like it's a TV show, but it's movie quality. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, thank you, Josh, for talking about your experiencing the movie and experience at the events again. It's really, I really like that you get to all these events. It's really great that and thank you for coming on this channel to talk about them.
Thanks for letting me, Dan.
Anytime. And now the reason why we're talking about the studio, the main reason, though you've seen this topic already, and so we're not going to show the cameo because I don't want Apple taking me down. I don't know how stingent Apple is with copyrights, and I'm not taking any chances on this channel. So Zack Snyder had a cameo presenting an award, and I did see this clip. I haven't seen any episodes, but I did see this clip, and making a Snyder Cut joke, even of all things, too. The 6-hour black and white cut of the award show. I guess, Josh, what were your thoughts on that cameo?
So, okay, most people I'll understand. You're not gonna like sit and just watch all the episodes, right? I watched the episode right before this stream at the gym, and I can tell you, if you don't watch the series, it's okay. Just watch the episode. It's episode 8. It's called The Golden Globes, and it is what you think. It is the studio going to the Golden Globes. And there's so many cameos. Part of an incentive for this community, as people who, some people like the Batman in this community. So Zoe Kravitz is a big part of it. Also Anthony Starr and Starlighter, or what's her name? Starlight. I forget her name. Erin Mortieri or something like that.
Erin, yeah, I know.
Yep, she's in it. Adam Scott's in it from Community and some other TV series. Jean Smart, who's iconic, but she was in the Watchmen HBO series. And who else? There's so many like other actors. But yeah, Zach's part is amazing. He is introducing an award, and he gets a big part of dialogue. So I encourage you, you don't have to have watched the whole series to understand it. When you start watching it, just know it's all about Seth Rogen. He's the main character, right? It's all about the studio executive. And then you see all the drama of what happens behind the scenes at these award shows at the Golden Globes. And it's so funny how self-deprecating Zack Snyder is. He's so self-aware, right? He's just, a cool guy, right? And so down to earth, and he delivers his joke so well. And I love that it's, in front. It's basically two Zoe Kravitz. So it's kind of like a little like, hey, Zack Snyder, Batman. She's a Catwoman. It's kind of like a Batman Catwoman thing. So it is pretty hilarious. And there's a like inside joke that he says. If you watch the clip, you're not going to understand it because he thanks somebody. But if you watch the entire episode, then you're like, oh my God, that's so funny that he said that little joke that he thanked somebody for. And so it makes sense. So I highly encourage you, go watch The Studio episode 8 on Apple TV Plus. It is called The Golden Globes, and it is well worth it. And Zach steals the show as usual.
Even referencing again a lot of our favorite movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And he says Snyder cut style. So I love it. I love, you can look online and see the whole joke, but I just love Zach. He knows why people know him. He knows what his most iconic property is, and it's ZSJL, baby. And so shout out to Zack Snyder for being the GOAT. And shout out to Seth Rogen, who went out of his way to cast people that us fans would be interested in seeing in a different capacity. Props to the Teen Titans Go, creators too, for bringing in Zach for that iconic cameo that he did in that series and giving us the Teen Titans that we deserve, fighting fucking Darkseid. So I love that Zach is continuing that tradition. And from what I understand, I don't know, there's an article written out there, but apparently Gunny Poo wanted to be in the series and it was declined. So
Yes.
Sorry.
Because, they know who the real ones are. And, someone else who knows, Brad Curran had another great article. So this is the title of the article. The link is in the description. I'm going to show part of the article, but I'm not going to show the whole thing because I want people to actually, go read it. But I don't know, Josh, have you read this article yet?
I glanced at it. Shout out to Brad Curran. There's amazing articles being written. Comicbook.com, I know, is writing some amazing articles. This specific one, I glanced at it. I didn't read the whole thing. But yeah, did you read the whole thing? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I read it. Sorry, my internet's cutting in and out. It doesn't like that I'm sharing this, I think.
Okay.
So
there you are. I hear you.
And SnyderVerse is so cool, like why it's different than the original, than other franchises, and he pulls a lot of numbers. Like he talks about how the Snyder stuff was more successful than the post Snyder era. Again, talking about Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, while Polarized made money. The thing that movies are made for, money.
Dinero.
So I may not share too much more article because StreamYard, it's like the instant I started sharing the article, all of a sudden it was like
it's all those ads.
So, it goes over the history of it, and yeah. But see, here's something I like what he says. The rest of Snyder's planned Justice League story is mostly available. Is that, again, Snyder outlined that Snyder had his plan made publicly available, an overall arc that unfolded a 5-movie story consisting of Man of Steel, BVS, and a trio of Justice League movies. And then other films like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Ben Affleck's Batman, but I'm going to stop sharing so that I can actually get through the rest of the stream without internet going out. But just check this article out. But this is what I like what he said, though, is the fact that Snyder's main story, everything else is spinoffs. The main story is Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and a Justice League trilogy. We got Man of Steel. We got Batman v Superman. We got the first of the Justice League trilogy, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So we already have 3/5 of this whole arc completed. And Zack has said he would do ZSJL 2 and 3 back to back. That's one more production. What I've kind of been saying throughout this whole thing, one more production.
Yep. Agreed. And
So I
we
guess,
know
with some of the stuff I skimmed over and what you read, what were your thoughts on the article, Josh?
I mean, Brad always, he doesn't miss, he is a true Snyder fan. I know he goes on a stream that most of the people here don't watch, but I've watched and I've done my investigation, and he is going against the narrative of, people who try to control this fan base and try to tell them what they should ask for, or if it should be in live action or animation. This person, I've realized that there are people that get invited to these panels and these shows, right? And luckily they are fans also and push back against these narratives. And so they have to do it obviously in a subtle way because of how the person who's hosting the show is so anti, right? So Brad is somebody who I think, just really wants to see it, completed, and I think that's what we all want. Whatever method, to get it live action, right? That's what we're going to do, because that's what Zack wants to do, and that's what his cast wants to do. So I have faith, Dan. Like, the more and more that I see these articles that won't go away, that I see, like, I'm sorry, but this downgraded, diluted state of the comic book movie franchise, that now, I'm sorry, but you're calling that the new Avengers. I'm sorry. If you liked it, cool, but wow. And now you're calling that Superman? Wow. Like, that's pathetic in my opinion. And the fact that audiences are settling for it and, oh yeah, this is a phenomenal movie, that's pathetic in my personal opinion. But art is subjective, right? That is just my opinion. But I just think that now people have, because we've been getting crap for so long, right? People are just settling for shit. And we are fighting for iconic filmmaking once again. And I think we are on the right side of history, unlike some people.
Well said, Josh. Well said. And Netflix. Will Netflix do this? I bring this up in a lot of shows, but I think it's important. Will Netflix do this? Will they sell SellZSJL to Netflix? SnyderVerse to Netflix? What are your thoughts, Josh?
All I'll say, Dan, is I was referring to the studio earlier, right? Which one? Zack Snyder. One something that I forgot to mention. You know what's a running gag in that episode, Dan? Is that there's one particular studio head, specifically the co-chairman, chief executive officer, and guess what studio that person works for? It's not Apple. You know what studio or what company that
I have
studio?
a feeling it's either a DC Studios or a parody of DC Studios.
No. The color is red. What studio's color is red?
Oh, socks. I'm really sorry.
No. It's Netflix, Dan.
Oh,
The entire series, and the joke is about the real life co-executive officer Ted Sarandos is in that episode with Zack Snyder.
Oh,
why do you
okay.
think
I see.
that Zack Snyder is a part of that episode? That's what I'm saying. And so it's a joke about Netflix, right? But every actor who's getting an award is a Netflix movie. So Seth Rogen is basically trying to say, like, Netflix is where it's at. And that's what I'm saying. Y'all all, whether you watch the series or not, you need to stop what you're doing and put on Apple TV Plus. Get a trial or whatever. You're going to get so much out of it. I've been saying this since March. Nobody's listening. Nobody's watching it. Watch The Studio, episode 8. I'm just saying. You will learn so much.
It's really interesting, though, that that essentially Apple TV Plus is promoting a competitor streaming service.
It
Competing
is, right?
streaming.
Let me show you this individual. You can put me full screen.
Yes.
Ted.
Let me.
His name, Ted Suriano.
Yeah.
That individual is in that episode, playing himself, a Netflix executive, and he's the one who tells Seth Rogen what's really up at Netflix. So you might want to just watch because Ted's in it, Zach's in it. I'm just saying, coincidence?
No. Not at all. Oh, that's really interesting, Rebel Moon Theory.
Interesting. Ta-da.
Which, that sounds like a call to action. We probably should be tweeting SellZSJL to Netflix, SnyderVerse to Netflix. But this is what I'm saying, though. The stars are aligned. Zach, again, it has another working relationship with Netflix. Henry Cavill has a working relationship with Netflix. Ben Affleck has a working relationship with Netflix. Ray Fisher has a working relationship with Netflix, as we've discussed. Our Batman, actually, I was going in the order that I said this. Our Superman, our Batman, and our Cyborg. Those three, and oh, thank you for pointing that out.
Batfleck at a Netflix event?
Well, he has 2 movies coming out because we were talking about Animals because that's our Ray Fisher is promoting, but he has that other movie with Sasha Calle with our Supergirl in it.
Oh, I forgot to mention Sasha Calle was at South by Southwest for a movie, and I didn't realize she was in it. So I could have saw her with my friend because my friend saw Sasha Calle, and I'm so sad. But next time, shout out to Supergirl. That's the Supergirl movie that's the Supergirl that I want to see in a Supergirl movie with Sasha Calle.
Maybe in ZSJL 2 and 3 because Zach has been known to cast actors that he did not, or put actors in his projects that he did not cast, like Jared Leto's Joker. Which, and remember, when that scene was filmed, nothing was canon except Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. So Jared Leto was not canon until Zack Snyder put him in that cameo.
That's true.
Not like Apollo Tub, where when that scene was filmed, Wonder Woman was meant to be canon. So.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And shout out, happy belated birthday to Gal Gadot, our Wonder Woman. She had an amazing birthday, and she actually posted about Zack Snyder's Justice League as well. It was a montage, but tons of Wonder Woman clips. She knows that she's still Wonder Woman, and she's not done. Just want to point that out.
Exactly. And screw the Gal Gadot haters. I've been doing it too, Josh. I've been doing it too.
I think and yeah, Bishop, I had to. I was like, I watched back and I was like, why am I saying Gal Gadot? I was like, but Gal Gadot, you were queen. Happy belated birthday. Taurus season.
But that's our Wonder Woman on Netflix. Again, we got our Batman, our Superman, our Wonder Woman, our Cyborg, and Mikey Sutton has said our Flash is going to be working with Zack Snyder on Netflix. So 5 of the 6 right there.
Yep.
This is doable. This is doable. This will happen because Netflix invested in Zack Snyder. You know, it's not like DC is doing a lot. I mean, both Batman movies, let's be honest here, are like not like those. Both scripts are like, I don't know what's going on with either of those scripts at this point. So,
in many ways, you know, you think about the ending of the Snyder Cut when you see Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, and Ben Affleck, Batfleck in Wayne Manor, you know, big table, 6 chairs, but room for more. So it's funny that we just didn't know that it was room for more over at Netflix, right? Because they're uniting the Justice League over here on Netflix. So yes, Netflix will do this once they have all the cast. They already got a lot of them.
Exactly. Now we just need Jason Momoa to join. You know, hopefully that other universe, he leaves that other universe when that, you know, does what that does. But this is just another great sign. Like the world's finest, the signs for the world's finest was another great sign. They're willing to come back. They're working with Netflix. It's happening.
Yep. Netflix knows what's up. They know. And we already know. They already had the freaking DCU on their freaking platform. They know what we want.
The DCEU.
Did I say DCU? DCE.
Yes.
I'm mid, so I apologize. DCEU. The real DC universe. DCEU.
I don't know. I know I mean, Zack Snyder said he'd work with Amber Heard again. So, I mean,
I'm sorry. I know you didn't like Aquaman 2, but she was a badass. So I will need some more.
she's my favorite. She's my favorite part of Aquaman 2.
She's amazing. I want to see that pissed off Mira in the Nightmare timeline.
Oh, really?
They've been on there since day one. That was the first cartoons and serial that Scott just talked about.
Yeah.
No, Amber
Damn.
Heard retired from acting DC Talk. She does not have anything coming up.
Until Zach calls her back.
Yeah, she's waiting on that call.
So, again, whatever happens in personal life, I let them sort it out. I don't get involved in that shit.
Oh, a year ago. He said it came out a year ago. Yeah, so she's probably got a relationship with Netflix, I'm sure.
So the stars are aligned at the end of the day. That's the whole point of the stream. It's just another indicator that the stars are aligned. Zack Snyder has shown interest. Ben Affleck has shown interest. Henry Cavill is getting work and is working with Netflix. And Zack Snyder again referred to him as Henry Cavill as Superman. It's happening, people. So, any final words you want to say on that, Josh?
Faith, Alfred. Faith.
And I don't know how to top that. So, what's coming up, Josh? What's coming up for you?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I am still feeling, I don't know if you can hear it, but I am still sick. So thank you to you, Bat Dan, for letting me. We were going to stream over the weekend. Didn't end up working out. You let me rest. So I appreciate that. I'm getting better. So I will be having to buckle down again. I do have some life-changing things going on with family. So I probably won't be, streaming anymore. But I will do what I can. And, I've still been around, right? Even though I've been busy and haven't been able to stream, we rallied for Henry Cavill's birthday. We rallied for Rebel Moon, and we're going to keep rallying. So I'm just here, seeing how it all plays out. I know right now everybody needs to go support Zack Snyder and support his episode. It would be really nice if everyone, tweets about Zack Snyder and the studio and gets it trending, because the studio was just renewed for season 2. So if Zack is in the first season with the co-executive officer, chief executive officer of Netflix, I'm just saying there could be more in the future with other fictitious film projects with a particular director in mind. So you might want to go check out Apple TV Plus, The Studio, Episode 8, and get it trending.
Exactly, Josh. And show support for Zack Snyder, show support for his other work. And again, thank you for coming on this stream. I know it's not always easy with health and personal stuff. And I really appreciate that you made time for this. And eventually when things gets, when you're ready, definitely would love to have you on again. And as for me, this will, unless something really big happens within the next week, I'll say that. Unless something really big happens in the next week, this will be my last live stream in this apartment, in this old studio before I upgrade. I do have a pre-recorded stream. I'm sorry, Socks. This is a really old recording at this point that has not been released.
Yeah.
Our Daredevil Season 3 review. And I do hope to get a recording with another recording here with Socks for Daredevil Born Again. Just, again, this move has been kicking my ass. I've been so busy with moving stuff, the closing, getting everything set up. And sometimes it's just, it's energy, right? Even if I have time, I just don't have the energy to do anything. So that's why there's been a lot of delays, a lot of stuff has been delayed, and I've been kind of busy for a while. So especially once I move, basically my plan is definitely release those stuff. That one recording I did with Stocks, I will try to get that out soon. And I'm going to be releasing a lot of old clips. You saw that I did one with Josh and Zod for Ezra Miller and that flash ring and Henry Cavill's suit being torn by Gunny Poo, one of Gunny Poo's Superman to be, or one of the people auditioning for him. But yeah, so there'll be more clips like that where I may release some old clips from old streams that I feel like stand on their own and should be seen. So, because I want to keep the channel active, even if I'm busy, even if I don't have time to record it, even honestly, even if I have time, but I don't want to record a live stream because my studio's not set up yet. I'll have ways to keep the channel up. And if something really big happens, like I said, if I don't know what happens, if let's say Ezra Miller gets cast in one of Zack's in Rebel Moon 3, if that happens, I mean, yeah, I'll go live. But as it stands right now, this is the last live stream at this apartment. So thank you, Sin Havoc. Thank you, Bishop. And yep, exactly. Moving up, One Punch Stand. So thank you all for who subscribed. And guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great banter such as this. And on that note, any final words, Josh?
Zack Snyder's the GOAT! Henry Cavill's the greatest Superman of all time. Ben Affleck has faith. SellZSJL to Netflix. Sell SnyderVerse to Netflix.
Have a bat-tastic day.
Snyder.